So fundamentally, my favorite part about the story is, it's your typical story of these two individuals with different sort of philosophies about how life and, people should be.
Blonde hair, brown hair.
Yeah,
The weak and the strong.
The classic
Basically.
black and white. Oh yeah, Griffith and Guts, that's what I'm here for. And they get twisted along the way, and it's comfortable for me to watch it because it's 10 episodes, the start reflects the ending, it's cohesive, there's no, everything is used well, and it's a story that has been done 100 times because it was one of the earlier ones, so it
was written 38 years ago.
God, long time.
You could have read this 38 years ago.
Yeah.
It's always been there. So yeah, I feel it's classic, and it starts and ends it feels like a poem, in the sense of it's got
a good cycle.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, the manga itself, which is what I read first, I read forever ago, is only it's either 4 volumes or 6 volumes.
Okay,
it's
so
the same
short.
thing where it's
short.
contained.
Okay, so you have that perspective. Interesting.
Yeah, so my whole kind of I have a lot of thoughts and feelings about it, but I feel like I have just too much context for it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
See, it's on Netflix, and so most people, it's the first time they've ever seen Devilman.
That's
first time they've ever
complete.
seen the animator Yuasa, anything, and so for me, it's written by Go Nagai. I read it when I was a kid. I've seen part of the OVAs. Go Nagai was the assistant to Shotaro Ishinomori, who wrote Cyborg 009 and everything,
Right.
who I'm a huge fan and convert of.
Got that hair.
So it's, to me, it just, the story had so much kind of attached to it when I just went into
Right,
it.
it's loaded.
That it was really hard for me to let go of how I felt about the story already. But I guess my feeling very much about how fresh it is the animation is an art piece.
Not
sure.
something, it felt so 2018.
Yeah.
For sure.
It definitely felt really modern.
Actually, this is the first time, not necessarily first time, when I first heard the song in either the first or second episode, this seemed familiar to me, because in Japan, they would just have, a lot of, OVA openings, and I recognized the song, and I was like, wait, this is familiar, but I'm used to seeing, the kanji of it, so I didn't know what it was called. Yeah. But then, when I actually, diving into the anime, I was like, oh, we're going through this road again. So, definitely watching the first episode, I was kind of just sitting there what's going on? What's happening? They're best friends. They're betraying each other. There's a lot of craziness going on. Drugs, crazy, party. Great. We love it here. Cool. But then actually watching the entire series, I'm just this is definitely a masterpiece. They're definitely throughout the series, I've had a little bit of questions or noticed pinpoints and there are a lot of serious messages or serious subjects throughout the series.
They say things.
Yeah.
They say things.
It's with other series we've watched. It's oh, this is enjoyable. This is nice, but no, this is right in the heart. You're just oh, wait a minute.
A lot of media will angle a stance. They'll be oh, well, this is our interpretation or our allegory or this or that. I think part of the reason why Devilman Crybaby feels strong is just because there's a lot of periods. It's this is what we think. This is what we think. This is what, there's not a lot of they don't have anything. If they're trying to say something, and they talk about some big things, I'm oh, okay, all right.
See, that was kind of one of the problems I had with it. Having read the manga, I kind of wanted those pieces to be longer.
Okay.
So for me, when they came up, I was oh, I guess that's all you have to say about that.
Yeah.
Or it became that thing where it was we're introducing a problem and solving it,
right. It
not
immediate.
even across a whole episode.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And, but I do get what you mean, and I think a lot of people had that same response. They're wow, they touched a lot of things, which is cool for sure.
I'm sure, because I felt there was so much more context to, what's her name, Serena or the bird demon,
So she gets her own OVA.
Okay, I think because that's what I felt.
Yeah,
man.
So the original I think 40 episode anime is really toned down, and it's Devilman kills a demon every episode,
Right,
Power Rangers or something. But then they did the OVA series, and they're all right, we're gonna turn the gore up now. And they got through 2, and they did the first one, which is the introduction, and then they did just one that was him fighting the bird demon.
I definitely felt that was important. I'm okay.
Yeah.
But when they cinched it up in an episode, I was okay.
Yeah.
I felt in the episode, it was just so much I was missing, because, she was saying a few things that Kira's just like, what are you talking about? The audience is like, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
For
you have
those
a
of them-
little bit
yeah.
of you have a little bit of a hard time like catching up sometimes. For
I
sure.
feel like since it is an anime, they want to stick it to like the 23 to 25 minutes instead of like a
Yeah.
full like hour like Stranger Things
though
or things like
episode
that.
9 was 27 minutes.
Oh yeah,
Got that extra 4 minutes. Oh shit.
Worth it. Yeah, I think what really like hit it for me was towards the end where is it that, like kind of like the leader of the demons. Like that big hairy one with the two masks on his shoulders.
Yeah.
I'm sure he was super important in the manga or something, but how he beat him in literally 30 seconds, part of one, I'm like, oh, so that's just how we're doing it.
Yeah, the series was not about the like we're taking down a
fights.
demon every episode.
Yeah, and I mean when he does the heart thing and the stylized random gore, I'm like, all right, so we're not even gonna attempt. But I do remember the scene where he comes into the parking garage to fight the bull, and the lightning cracks around him, and then he transforms.
Cool.
I'm like, that's okay. So that's the vibe that it was, sort of like the Monster Week sort of deal. I get it. But I mean.
See, like, so if I was gonna make a change, I'd have called for one more, like, he hunts a demon in an episode. Like, that would have been, like, it to me, because I was like, okay, we have a pattern. Because instead it was, like, he fought, like, the pair kind of, they were in 2 separate episodes, but the only other one he kind of fought, like, on a, like, oh, this is a new one for this episode, was the one that got his mom and dad.
Right. Ooh,
that one.
And because that one worked that way, and I felt it was kind of messy in general.
Oh,
like,
yeah, it just happened.
It never, like, set me, like, into the pace of, like, oh, he fights, like, demons. It was kind of like...
It was kind of like thrown at you, like, here you go.
Really.
Yeah, a couple. Yeah, when I think it's, like, even the
like,
second
as a
demon.
pattern. Anyway.
Yeah.
Exactly. The second part where he fights the demon with the night vision episode,
Yeah.
he, like, gets caught, like, and I'm like, oh, I was just riding the vibe of them showing up on a scene and whooping demons. He was even riding. He's like, all right, I'm right here. Like, oh, we're gonna do this. All right, I'll transform, kill him. You get it on tape. Like, just a bunch of shit that. So yeah, definitely that's where it could be where it was missed.
Least favorite character from the series.
Oh.
Ooh.
Let's see, where do I?
Mine is Rio. I'll go ahead and go. I hate Rio's character. I hate him so much. So like I mean, like, it plays out in the anime as well, but, like, in the manga, I mean, he shows up, he pulls, like, the gun out, but it's, like, it's so Heathers-esque in the sense that it's, like, ooh, you're such an edgy kid, you've got a gun and you drive a car, like, and, like, I just remember being, like, it's that dangerous thing of, like, I don't know, that, like, kid in high school who's, like, just, like, edgy to a fault of the sense that, like, it's like, okay, you're really kind of barking.
Yeah,
like,
what are you saying with this?
And then, like, I'm not a big fan ever in Japanese media's tendency to be, like, it was God the whole time. Or like, the whole, like, in the end though, it's about existentialism. Like, I'm really just always game to like, oh no, it was really about like having a rival and wanting to run faster than them. Like, I want that to be like the thing. And like that in just general, like, so I was disappointed in that, like, across every medium that this story's been told in.
Right.
But I think this medium does the best job of explaining those stories of, like, the running, like, rivalry, the runner, like, losing his boyfriend and stuff. Like, I think the way it's animated very much is, like, it tells the touching human stories, like, really well.
Now, real quick, animation ask, when they go down real low to run, that was a stylistic decision by this animation, right? They don't do that in the manga?
Not that I recall
Okay,
at all.
because that was really modern and really rad.
Yeah.
I have to admit. It's emotional.
Well, no, it's like, okay, so from episode 1 to 7, it made sense, but then like from 8, it was kind of like going off a different path, and I'm just kind of...
Time gets very distorted.
Yeah, I'm just like, 7. It just gets really messy. It's like, all right, all these demons are coming. We only said 10 episodes. We're almost done, so we just have to like... In a sense, I kind of felt like it was a little rushed. I mean, it's just like... They just brought all these new characters that, while we were kind of getting used to, like, character development with the other characters, like Mako, Miko, the sibling of the younger two.
Don't forget Psycho Jenny out of nowhere.
God,
yeah, which
again, like,
that was rad, but also I was like, okay, this is a lot.
That's the thing, it goes back to that existential thing, like, oh, so you just didn't show us her face in the first episode, so we just, like, are surprised now. Bullshit.
Yeah, so it's like, we got...
But like, we
got, like, all these characters, and all of a sudden we're like, 3 more episodes, bring them in, bring them in.
This person the whole time was obviously a demon, you idiot. It's like, how were you took that from us. Like,
it's like, I'm just kind of looking on the couch, just like, wait, like, I think you're even looking at me, you're like, are you okay? And I'm just like, I'm so puzzled, I don't know what's going on. And then, like, finally towards the end, like, after what was going on, I was just kind of, like, sitting in the tub and just thinking, I'm like, what happened? What was the finale?
I have to say, though, absolutely love the first and second episodes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So that was...
I think it establishes really well.
Okay.
Absolutely. Like, man, like, absolutely, yeah. I think those are masterpiece episodes to me, for sure.
And for me, the ending is powerful because of the start, and I'll talk about the ending, but also the most powerful moment, which I'm sure, not the most powerful moment, the most powerful device used, I feel, was the shared empathy that he felt. And being his character trait, that being his sort of manga ability, the fact that he can't cry on his own, it has to be him sort of being an empath and like picking up on other people's emotions. It's just really strong, and they didn't overuse it.
No,
and
they did not overuse
really,
it, for sure.
really tied it into what they're at least trying to say. And I mean, I feel the ending was really strong because, you know, Satan wanted to rule with the demons because they were really powerful, but demons adapted the things that they got from the pirates they fused to, and when Amon fused with the main character, Devilman, he becomes empathetic, and that's that he learns the power of the human race, and Satan can't understand that, so at the end, he doesn't understand what his sadness is at losing someone, and then, you know, it gets reset, and, you know, I get it, there's the nihilism there, I love that that Satan, like, had this whole plan, and it went the way that he thought it would go, but it didn't at the same time.
Kind of backfired him at the last minute.
It destroyed him, because he couldn't, it's all about that rivalry.
Yeah.
That was how he existed.
He needs Devilman, or he needs the other character to be empathetic because he can't be.
Exactly.
So at the end, when Devilman is dead, there's no one to cry for Satan, which was Satan's whole
Exactly, because that's what the start is. Like,
it's like, yeah, Rio can't cry but like this other character can.
Mm-hmm. And and I mean, I like what it just felt powerful to me, and I think I remember I wrote it down while I was saying, it's like, no, they say things by going all the way. Am I a little horrified at the episode where they murdered all the other characters? Yeah, that was tough to sit down.
That was not okay to stomach.
But the fact that they just also in that episode chose to define those characters with their ending, I really liked. I'm like, okay, so you said something and then they died, and it was
Well, yeah, I mean, but it goes back to if you're going to end the world anyway.
Yeah, so why show the death of every character, show the full character arc. Personally, I just think that, I think it's strong. Is it the best? Are there other ways to do it? Yeah, but it's just nice to see, oh no, they did that. That was, they went the strong way.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So, soundtrack, though, honestly.
Oh my god.